Hey y'all. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna post this, but I need to probably let this out. Anywho, so if you've been following me, you know that the Lord took me through a transforming of my mind, Romans 12:2 scripture, um, that says, hold on a second, I'm gonna get it for you guys, because I wanna make sure the scriptures is right. Oh. Um, it's Romans 12:2. It's transforming of the mind. Um, let's see, 12:2, because I began it. I be on it. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Then verse 3 of that says, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Christ, and everyone members one of another. So that means we got a whole lot of thinking that we got to transform, right? So I take myself, right, and I'll use myself as an example. Like what that legit meant for me. It meant that I needed to change the way I thought and I saw things. And I had to line it up with the will of the Lord and not what looks uniformed in the world, right? So I am literally, I feel as if God is using me to be different, right, than the people that I'm around, right? Than the circles that I'm in, right? And it's different only because so many people are like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't see how God would do this, and I don't see how God would do that. And I get it, y'all, right? Like, I'm here. I feel it. Like, I understand where y'all coming from. But at the end of the day, like, all I know is I gave my yes to Jesus, right? Um, and the healing and the thought processing and the way he took me through to get to where I am right now, right? To be able to be comfortable in walking out this word without the things like just being obedient, right? Like not having anxiety or like not stressing and just different things like that, right? Like he literally took me through a whole mind transformation, right? So I listen different, I hear differently, I see things differently, right? And so as I reflect on the words that God sent me before I got to this place, right? One of them came from an overseer. I went to the church that he sent me back to when I got back to Orlando, right? And she said to me, and I'm not quoting it because I don't remember it word from word. And I did write it down somewhere because every time someone speaks something to me, I tend to like write it down because sometimes it makes sense in a moment and then sometimes it doesn't, right? And God is wanting me to have the warning but still walk in my obedience, right? So the word came and she said, the Lord said that the enemy gonna try and make you think that you're crazy, right? That you don't know what you're talking about. She said, I don't know what that means, but Lord said, you will know what that means, right? And in the moment, I didn't know what it meant, right? Because I didn't know what it meant, right? But now, as I'm sitting here on yesterday, just pondering on my situation, as it is right now, today, right? Or yesterday, as I sit and I think back on all the things that God has like promised me and spoken to me. He keeps reminding me that this time is different, right? It's not the same. Like, it feels the same. Like, I've been here before, right? Like, I've been in a situation where um I ain't had no place to go, right? Like, evictions came, situations happened, and I had to move. And I've always been in a situation where I never knew where God was taking me next, right? Like, there was never no um there was never anything for me to know, like, what's next, right? And so we always went to, like, family member just being like, fine, y'all could just come stay here and this and that, whatever, right? And so I don't know, right? Like, so I'm here now, and this go round, it was a little different, right? Like, it was a little different. I was living with family members, and then I got a move out date, so I was obedient and I moved out on the date I was supposed to move out, right? The kids had a whole different move out date. They decided that they didn't want to leave, right? Because they didn't like the living situations that I just accepted in the season I was in, right? Because that is what I believe I was supposed to do, right? And just trust God, right? No matter what it looks like, just trust God, right? Because that is what I believe we're supposed to be doing, right? When we say yes to Him and we surrender our whole lives, whichever way He chooses to take us, as long as we stay focused on what it is what it is He wants from us, everything works out, right? As long as we're obedient. So, I can't remember if it was before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, but I got the text message that said, hey, the insurance is going up on the car. You can either pay it or have to turn the car in, right? And I'm good with that, right? Like, whatever, Lord, you see fit is supposed to happen, I know it's going to happen, right? So now when He's like, oh, you can, if you can pay it, you know what I'm saying, you can keep the car. I had some thoughts about it or whatever, right? Like, I'm like, well, Lord, I don't have the funds because you've not released the job to me yet, right? Like, I've been applying, I've been looking, like, I've been seeking you on what I'm supposed to be doing to produce income, right? My son's job is gone. He been looking, interviews, setting up, like, nothing falling through. Then my daughter goes and her job suspends her. Y'all, we are here with no income. My husband is working enough to take care of the responsibilities that he has for himself, right? So I'm legit like, okay, God, like, you legit have taken all resources from us, right? Like, you have taken all of the resources from us. And we are literally at your beck and call. Like, we are at your feet right now in such a way that, like, if you don't do this thing, and if you don't move, if you don't release our house, if you don't, God, if you don't do it, it ain't gonna be done. If you don't do it, it ain't gonna be done. So I wake up every morning and I'm like, God, you told me it was different. You told me that it will not be the same. You spoke some things to me. Like, I know I heard you loud and clear. I know what you spoken over me. I know what you promised me. And I know you told me that it was not the same. It was different this time, right? And so, as I focus on the things of the Holy Spirit, right? Like, I see change. I see healing coming. I see, like, things moving differently, right? I still need a house, y'all. I still need a place to stay for me and my family. And if y'all saw the video before, like I told y'all, not even before Thanksgiving, I was out with the kids, and I know what God showed me, and I know what he spoke to me, and I know what I felt in that moment. And I believe everything that I said in that video, right? But as I sit here and I know that Monday is going to be here before you know it, y'all, I'm waiting on God to show me, like, what is going to happen? What is it that he needs me to do? Like, who is he sending my way? That's going to be the help that I need. And I'm trying not to get caught up in my own perspective of what it's going to look like and how it's supposed to come together and all of those other things. But as I sit here knowing that on Monday I got to relinquish this car and I got no place to stay, I don't have a home to lay my head. The house, God, you showed me, I don't have the credit for. I don't have the income for it. I don't even got the $1,000 to start the process. But I know that's the house you showed me, because you won't show me nothing else, because you haven't given me anything else. You've not given me anything else. So as I sit here and I look at my reality and all the things that I don't have, that the world says I need to get the things that I need to get, as I sit here and I think about how I don't have my own house, how God hasn't released my own resources, I don't have income coming in, y'all. I actually got no income for my household at all, because the income we did have, God decided to take that away. Y'all, I don't have the credit that I need. They said I need a 580 to even start the house processing. I got a 530, y'all. But what I know is that God erased student loans. Is gone. The amount of student loans I had before, y'all, I was up into like $1,000, $100,000 worth of student loans, because I got a master's, y'all. I got a master's and can't find a job. I got a master's and the Lord won't release me a job. I done been on interviews and everything to be denied. I don't have income. I don't have the credit. I got an eviction on my I got an eviction in my name from the last apartment that I had to leave, that I wasn't able to fulfill the obligations there. And I believe all of that was God's way of just getting my attention to be like, hey, it's time for a change. It's time for a shift. I got something else for you to do. And I got all of that. I hear all of it, y'all. All of it. I hear it. Like, I know what my purpose and my plan is. I know what God is saying for my life. I know what he has for me to do, right? And it definitely needed to take some breaking within me so that I can be who he is calling me to be, so I can live and walk this walk the way he is intending for me to walk it, right? I know I had to go through this in order to be able to understand and walk out Matthew 6:33, right? So as I sit on today, November 29th, Saturday, November 29th, I think that's the date, y'all. Knowing that I have to give up this car on Monday, December the 1st. For the last 2 days, I've been sitting in silence, like, okay, God, you have to show me, like, because I'm not hearing you, so that means that I need to be still so I can be paying attention to what you're doing in my life and how you showing me, like, the next steps and what I need to do, right? And so as I'm sitting here, of course, the inner me is playing in my brain, right? Like, this is what's been happening. Like, this is a repeat cycle, right? Like, you've been going through this, right? And so I'm trying to definitely not allow my thoughts to convince me that my situation is the same, right? I definitely am trying my best to remind myself and remember what God has spoken over me, what he has already the words that he has already sent me before this, right? Because those are the words that he will bring back to my memory to help me to stay focused on what it is that he needs me to stay focused on, right? And not get caught up in the what I don't see, right? And so as I sorry, y'all. So as I sit in my days leading up to this next due date, I definitely ponder on some things. And one of the things that came back to me was the word that the overseer gave me, that the enemy is definitely trying to make me think that I'm losing it, right? Like that I don't know what I'm talking about, right? And I can't give him that, right? Like, I cannot allow my mindset to be anything different than what God has already shown me, right? What God has already spoken to me, right? What he's already promised me. And so as I was sat today and yesterday, just listening and worshiping and just thanking God for everything, right? For all things. I just sat and I just thought and pondered on, like, where I am for real. Like, my reality for real is that I'm separated, right? My husband and I are married, but we're not together in the same household, right? Still a part of the plan, right? My family is not together. We're all kind of like dispersed, right? We aren't able to come to like one home, which is my desire for my family to be, so that my husband and I can have our own home, right? That we don't have to worry about keep repeating the same cycles, that our kids and our grandkids can come and hang out, like we can host family functions so that nobody is uncomfortable, him or I are uncomfortable with going to in-laws homes and feeling as if like the love is given differently, right? Like I want to be able to host a family function so people can come and not feel like they have to perform or pretend to be a certain type of way to fit in, right? Like I don't want either of us to have that feeling. I don't even want my kids or my grandkids to have that feeling, right? Like I want them to be able to go and be in a place where they can feel unconditional love, right? And not have to worry about like past shit stuff, whatever, right? um so that's one thing, right? I told y'all I have an eviction, like, and I know this is a me thing, right? And what God does for me will bless my family. But as I said, God took all our income. Like, we are legit going through a Job kind of season where God is just taking stuff. He's just taking things. He's just taking things to see if we're going to curse him and die and just be like, forget it. Like, or if we go stand firm on what we believe he's spoken over us. And so I don't know, y'all, right? So it's a Job season. We're going through a Job situation, right? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do, right? But trust God. So without the income, without the credit, without all the other things that God said that man says we need, we don't have it, right? We don't have it. But as I was in worship today, the Lord said he wouldn't leave me nor forsake me, right? He said he was there, like he was going to always be there, right? Like if he did it for other people, he'll do it for me, right? So as I wait on the Lord to do what he's going to do in my life, all I know to do is praise him, right? Because although I don't have what man says I'm supposed to have, I got everything that God says I need. And I'm trusting him at a different level, right? Like my faith is being stretched so much right now, y'all. I don't understand it. And I definitely know that there's nothing I can do to change it. I just got to keep trusting that God had already made the plans. He had already worked it out. And although I don't see it yet, but God, y'all, but God, because I know that on Monday, he'll have it fixed for me. And I don't know how he gonna do it, y'all. And I don't know who gonna walk in obedience concerning me. But I trust God. I trust him in ways that I can't even explain. But I trust him, y'all. I trust him, and I know he gonna come through. So y'all, I don't know. I made the video. I don't even know if I'm gonna post the video. I don't even know. But y'all, whatever it is you choose to do today, be great at it, okay? Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. Because if God allowed it to happen, he's got a plan for it, right? Just trust the process. Just trust him in the process. Because if he said it, believe it. That was the song. If he said it, no. If he said it, then believe it. Because he's a man of his word. Of your word, y'all, it's a Maverick song. All things are possible if you just believe. And that is how the Lord spoke to me today. The music. All things are possible if you just believe. So I believe whatever the Lord spoke over my life, I believe it. How he's going to make that come to pass, I got no clue, y'all. But in what I'm going through right now, I still believe and trust God in a way that's different than I used to. And I believe that if he said it, I'm going to believe it. Because he's not a man that should lie. And so if he said it, I'm going to believe it. And I encourage y'all to do the same, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe you got to make videos like this, right? Like, maybe you have to record yourself being vulnerable and open and honest, right? Like, maybe you need to just do that, right? So that you can keep it for yourself. I don't know. So that when you see God moving, you could go back to the moments where you were like, Lord, I don't see you. I don't know. And then as he starts releasing those things and revealing those things and giving you understanding and showing you more and more of his plan and what he has for you, you can go back and you can look at the difference, so you can see the progress and what you've made and how you've made it, and the thought process and which you have to go through in order to be different than what you were before. Y'all, the weight of the reality definitely gets me. It definitely takes a toll on me because I know what it looks like and I know what people see, right? But until you go through that Romans 12:2 transforming of your mind, it's always gonna look as if you're being defeated, right? Like, you're always gonna look as if like you're living in lack, but there's no lack in God. There's no lack in him. So even though the world says I'm supposed to have all of these things in order to obtain all of these things, my mind keep going back to Matthew 6:33, where he says, seek him first in his kingdom, and then all of those things will be added. I believe all of the things that's going to be added are all of the things that we need to survive in the world. But until we focus on him the way we're supposed to focus on him, and we trust him the way we're supposed to trust him, we're always going to be thinking that if we follow Christ the way we're supposed to follow him, it's not correct because it doesn't look like what everybody else, the way everybody else has gone through it, right? And if everybody else's way of walking this walk of sanctification is the same, then who's actually wrong? Is it the ones whose live and thought processing is all the same, or is it the person who has a different processing, has a different thought process, right? Like, it's not the same in the world. Like, I had to learn to be very careful with the way I associate the word with the world, because we can do it in a way that causes confusion, right? Because God is not focused on the things of the world. He's focused on the things of the spirit, right? And if we aren't able to distinguish the difference, we're always going to tether a line of what the world says it should look like and what God and Jesus actually wants it to look like, right? And so as I have my moments of like, okay, God, like I know what my reality looks like, but I also know what you promised me. When I have those moments where I'm like unsure, or like my thoughts might be getting the best of me, God always reminds me of his word, right? He always takes me back to his word. Um and my desire is to walk this word out in every area of my life, right? And that's even the ones that even the areas I got no control over. I literally have no control over my whole life, right? When I said yes and I surrendered my whole life to Jesus, like I literally gave myself back to him. That's how we're supposed to do when we baptize, when we get baptized. That the baptism is us surrendering our whole lives, saying we're getting rid of the new, we're getting rid of the old, and we're gonna come up in the new. What I think churches fail to do is walk you through that new mindset, right? Like, yeah, they're focusing on you getting baptized and coming to church all the time and listening to the word that God gives them to give, but we're not teaching people how to hear from God for themselves, right? We're teaching people how to be reliant on someone else giving a word, someone else being able to express to them what God is saying to them. Now, yes, will God use people? He definitely will. But I think there's a fine line and a difference in us being reliant on God speaking through someone else for us, and not so much us being reliant on Jesus himself to hear the words for ourselves that he's saying, right? And I believe that the only reason why there's a that is a thing is because we aren't really teaching people how to hear from God by themselves and be okay with what they're hearing, right? I had to learn that the way God speaks to me is different than he speaks to everybody else, right? Like you have to learn the way God speaks to you personally so that you and him can have a communication that no one else understands, right? Because it's going to be different for everybody else. Everybody has their own walk with Christ, right? And if we don't learn how to hear from him ourselves and move in the obedience that he is causing us to move in or asking us to move in, the way we're supposed to walk this thing out is not going to be understood in the way that God is wanting it to be understood. One, it says you got to go to him for understanding anyway, right? Like we got to seek him for his understanding in order to understand how we're supposed to move in this world. So we definitely have to learn how to have our own personal relationships, whether we have a church to go to or not, right? Whether somebody comes and speaks what God says or not. Like we definitely have to have our own relationships so that when God speaks to us, we hear him and we move, and we're not waiting on someone else to give us what God has said for us, right? It was one lady and she was like, she was given a word from the Lord, and she was just saying, God was like, you don't need everybody else to tell you what I'm saying, just come to me, right? She was telling the people that they don't need to hear words from no one else. They don't need to hear anything else from anyone else. They just need to go to Jesus and hear it from him. And I could agree with that, right? Because my Romans 12 transformation of my mind, I didn't have a therapist, right? Like I didn't go to therapy. It legit was me and the Lord, but I definitely had to be opened. I definitely had to be open to the healing process, right? Like self. I definitely had to be open to digging into self and healing self first, right? The things that God was showing me that I didn't fully surrender to him, right? I'd given my yes, but there were some things that I had learned in the world, right? And how to be in control, or thinking I needed to control things, right? And so as God takes you through the healing process and he takes you through the transforming of your mind, you definitely have to heal from some past behaviors that you picked up that don't coincide with what the Bible instructs for us to do, right? We definitely have to go through some healing. And the healing Jesus is going to take you through is the healing that he needs to take you through so that you can understand him and what your plan and your purpose is for the kingdom, right? So it's definitely going to take you some soul searching, right? Like you got to dig deep down, because there's some things that I'm sure the Lord has allowed you to suppress, right? To just keep going through life. But when you fully surrender your life to Christ and you go, you get baptized, and now you have to be the new creature in him. You have to let go of the old ways that you had, right? And the old ways that you have, the old ways that you obtained came from past experiences that may or may not have served you well, right? And those things God has to break from you so that you can be able to change your mind, right? So you definitely have to go through some healing. And for me, God took me back to different places and people, particularly my parents, and my husband's people, right? To heal from things that I picked up from them, right? Like things that offended me, with just the way they think or thought my life should have gone or my marriage should have gone. I had to be healed from some of those things, right? Because there was some situations and things that had transpired throughout the years that caused me to feel a certain type of way, right? That caused me to cope a certain type of way, that caused me to respond a certain type of way, right? And until I allowed the Lord to heal me in a way that allowed me to see me and the things that I was doing and the way I was moving that wasn't pleasing to God, I had to go back and correct those offenses, right? And so you definitely will probably have to circle back around to the people that that you offended or offended you, and you have to learn how to walk those things out in the Bible, right? And that comes with just surrendering. That comes with trusting God. That comes with allowing God to fill that space in your life so that you can see it the way he wants you to see it, right? So so even in my low moments, he allows me to have them, my thoughts, and they're not low moments, but they are moments where like my past tries to creep up and make me think that what God said is not going to happen. And that's not an easy place to be in your mind, right? To know that you've had some past experiences and you have to go through some things that look similar to what you went through before, But this time, you know for sure God has spoken to you and told you that it was different, right? That it wasn't the same. And so when your reality hits, right, what you see with your natural eye, but you know in your spirit the Lord is telling you something else that doesn't line up with what your natural eye see, what do, y'all? Do you trust what you don't see? Or do you trust what you don't see, right? Like, I have moments, like, I know what my reality looks like. Like, I know what, you know what I'm saying? I know how people see my reality, right? Like, I know for thoughts and the emotions and the feelings that come with what my reality looks like, right? And I have to will my mind to not allow those things to take over me and to allow me to forget what Jesus promised me, right? So although I know what my reality is, I also know what the Lord promised me, right? And I don't know what that looks like on a day-to-day until I wake up, because the Lord told me that I shouldn't be worried about where I'm going to eat or what clothes I'm going to wear and things like that. That it will take care of itself. And I've literally now understand what that means also, right? Doesn't always mean it's going to be comfortable. There's nothing always comfortable when you follow Jesus and you allow him to use you. Whichever way he chooses to use you. But we are supposed to be able to help one another get through those moments, right? We should be able to be so in tune with the Holy Spirit, if you're followers of Christ, that when he puts something on your mind, or he lays something on your heart, or he gives you a vision or something, like, we should be able to recognize that and be like, okay, God, like, you know what I'm saying? And then hear and understand what he needs for us to do in that moment, right? So when people are like, oh yeah, I thought about you this morning, that's God saying, go check on that person, right? Like, go check in with that person and see how they're feeling, right? Like, what is it? You don't know why God is telling you to do that, but he does. And as long as we're obedient to him and what he's instructing us to do, even when it's weird or it doesn't make sense, we just do it, right? And that's how we're supposed to help one another get through just this walk of life, right, in a way that's pleasing to Christ. So I don't know, y'all. Yesterday was a good day. Not saying that today is not a good day. But it was a mentally trying day, right? Like, the enemy did definitely try to come for my thoughts. But Jesus. And I'm gonna trust him. And that's all I got. I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him until either he take me about this world, or he shows me that he is not worthy to be trusted. And since that is not who he is, that is not the God I serve. The God I serve is trustworthy, right? The God I serve has never lied, right? What he said he will do. It's just whether or not we're going to trust him and believe him until it's completed. Y'all, it's thing getting serious out here, y'all. I got 2 days, today, tomorrow, and I turn the car in on Monday. So I don't know what the Lord is going to do, and I don't know how he's going to do it. But what I do know is that I'm going to trust him, and I'm going to stay focused and see what he says. See how he works this thing out. Y'all, be great. And whatever it is you choose to do today, don't let nobody tell you nothing different, right? Because if he allows you to do it, I'm sure there's a plan for it. And you just got to trust him until the end. Just trust him, y'all. Love ya. Bye.